What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Last Round Boxing Podcast. You got me, Roberto,
Pablo.
Me, Asal.
and this is the Last Round Boxing Podcast. We had an interesting week of boxing. We had the infamous Jake Paul fighting the Stockton gangster Nate Diaz in a 12-round boxing fight. 10-round round boxing fight. Really interesting. There's a lot of things that we should probably discuss. What are you guys' thoughts about it?
Yeah, the self-proclaimed ass of boxing had a fight this Saturday, and I mean the arena was packed. I'm sure it's gonna do numbers on pay-per-view. Definitely there was a lot of coverage about it. It was making big splashes on Twitter and on Instagram, and the fight kind of delivered a little under what I thought was gonna happen. I think we all predicted Jake Paul would knock out Nate Diaz, or at least stop him. At least for me personally. But the first round kind of was going to plan. Everything was going good for Jake Paul. He hurt him and he was just wailing on him. But suddenly, I think he might have expended himself too much, and Jake got a little tired, and that's when the Stockton gangster, he started coming back on. Nate Diaz was still in the fight. It was a competitive fight, but it was clear that Jake was winning because he just had all the advantages in the book, and he pulled off the unanimous decision, rightfully so. I think he won it. He won, I think 8-2 or 9-1, and yeah, so he moves forward.
Yeah, that was a very easy fight to score. Honestly, it was very every round you could kind of tell who won. Typically, like you said, Jake had every single advantage in the book. He was not only was he younger, bigger, he's also stronger, faster. You could tell. I don't know. Seeing Nate throw punches with
It was
very little sloppy. I don't know.
technique.
No technique.
Yeah.
They were like arm punches. And when he throw in bunches. They'd be like 7 punch combinations, but they seem like to deliver have like no power.
Zero damage.
No damage. He never hurt Jake. He never had him in any trouble. The only thing he really did was be tough. Would just be there for Jake. Yeah. Honestly, going into this fight, it did deliver in some aspects, but overall, I was a little I think it was an underwhelming performance from Jake. I think he believes that too. Because I know he was going in there to knock him out. After that first round, even myself, I was thinking, I was like,
It's gonna be an early night.
Yeah, early night. He might take him out before 3 or 4. But seeing that second round and how it played out, it had me, changing my opinion, because Nate came back. Jake seemed a little tired that second round, and then after that, it just kind of, I don't know. Jake for me, I feel he didn't take advantage of all the errors that Nate would do in the fight. He was so unorthodox. He didn't have much balance in his punches. He overreached a lot. And he would not engage. There'd be moments where Nate would just, start walking back or look away or start talking to the crowd or something like that. And instead of pressing on the action, Jake would just kind of
let him,
just let him showboat. Just showboat. And I don't know. If I was in Jake's corner, I would have definitely told him to keep the pressure, press him, and just box him. Just use your speed. I feel he was trying to knock him out, trying to hit him hard with these hard punches, and I think it was the wrong game plan. Definitely did not. I didn't think it was that good of a performance from Jake. A little underwhelming, but he got the win, got the knockdown, and he moves on. That's how it is.
In my personal opinion, I was expecting a knockout. Yeah, I was going in there thinking that Jake Paul has all the advantages. Probably doesn't have height, but he has the weight and the youth, which is very critical against a guy who is basically a retired fighter at this point. And I believe that he underperformed. I think, at least for me, in my opinion, I went back home not very happy. Yeah. So yeah, and I think even Jake himself, he knows it too. Like in between rounds, especially that second half of the fight, he was kind of like going to the corner and just kind of like
He was just gassed.
he was kind of gassed. But most of all, I think he was kind of a little bit lost too. I think by up until that point, especially during that second half of the fight, I think he was maybe hoping that he would by that point be whipping this dude's ass, and it wasn't really that the case. He started off way too strong, and I think he just kind of eased off the gas as the rounds kept going. And Nate, he's I would say in the boxing ring definitely a one-dimensional fighter, if that, and the same speed, no power,
No power.
no
technique.
whatsoever. He seemed pretty off balance in certain situations as well. It was good, the attack, the barrage of 4 to 5 to 6, 7 punch combinations, but there were no damage in those punches. So, a lot of people on Twitter were saying that even though Nate lost, it's still a win. But I think the big loser is Jake. He won, but he definitely lost.
Yeah, I think Jake Paul got exposed a little bit. I think that we got what we got from Nate Diaz. Everyone expected that from him. Zero technique. I've seen amateur fighters possess better technique than Nate Diaz. So from there, that was going to plan. But I think with Jake Paul, he didn't perform. He didn't rise to the expectations because like we've all been saying, he had every advantage in the book. Taller, weighs more younger, faster speed, reflexes, everything. Nate had nothing. Nate had none of that. Zero technique, zero speed, zero explosiveness, nothing. And he couldn't knock him out. He couldn't really implement his game plan. But the only thing that Nate Diaz did have was that dog in him. That just go forward. I'm from Stockton, this and that. And that caused trouble for Jake Paul. And I think that's a very important piece. If you're not afraid of Jake and you're just there to bring it and you just go forward, you're going to cause him some trouble because for some reason, he gets kind of gassed and he can't seem to really handle fighting off the back foot that well. Especially, imagine someone like explosive and that's fast in Nate Diaz's position last night. It could have caused some serious damage to Jake Paul.
Yeah, like what we were saying, this fight really showcased a big flaw in Jake's game, which is pressure, or even volumes of punches. Because when Nate would start, letting his hands go and throw these 5, 6 punch combinations, Jake would respond with just one punch in between. But how can you let someone give you Nate would give him 6 punch combinations? You can't let someone do that to you, especially an older fighter Nate. It was Nate, so he was able to not really suffer the consequences from that. But if it's someone young, if it's a Tommy Fury rematch, even a KSI, that's gonna hurt. He's gonna feel it. He can't. He needs to really work on go back to the gym and really work on
his defense,
his counter punching especially. There were so many times during the fight where Nate would throw, overreach, and he was so off balance, and Jake wouldn't capitalize on those opportunities. He missed them.
Yeah,
or he wouldn't even let his hands go.
If Jake Paul can't counter someone as slow and as out of balance as Nate Diaz, he's not going to be able to counter someone explosive or fast or young. If he's struggling with someone like that, being able to counterpunch him with all of the openings and super wide chin up in the air, and he can't counter him, he's going to have some serious problems when he versus someone that, actually can throw punches with technique, speed, and precision.
There was that thing that I'm going to go back to that you said he got exposed. And yes, I would say there's 2 key points that I kind of took away from this fight. One is that when Jake Paul fights an opponent that's aggressive or a come forward type of guy, Jake doesn't really know how to handle that. And he doesn't really doesn't know how to handle that well. You know what I'm saying? Not even just a little bit of a boxing experience that he has. He was just kind of running back forward in hopes that he was able to catch a breath of air. 2 is that it looks like he doesn't have a gas tank either, because especially after, you could say that maybe after the first round, he started too hard, and so afterwards it kind of messed it up. But even then, How do you gas out against a guy who is very flat-footed, who is throwing the punches at the same speed? Not only that, but doesn't have any power, bro. This means that against a KSI or a rematch against Tommy Fury, like I don't see Jake Paul winning at all.
They're gonna go bad for him. Yeah, because I mean, you can't. It was pretty much we were talking about this when we were watching the fight. It was pretty much target practice. Like if Jake Paul throws punches 9 times out of 10, he's gonna land on Nate Diaz. No head movement. He was always dropping his hands, flat-footed, like you said. He doesn't, he no reflexes as well. Like it was really target practice for Jake Paul, and he should have invited Nate to throw punches at him and counter them, rolled with them, or maybe a catch and shoot if he doesn't believe in his reflexes, something to punch in between Nate Diaz, because it was so easy. It would have been so easy for him to just catch punches from him and counter in between, and because Nate Diaz was so wide and so slow, he would have just sat his ass down.
You know what it is? I think also Jake Paul went into this fight too overconfident. You know what I'm saying? Coming into the arena with the tank and whatnot. I think he was expecting that KO or for the fight not to last, more than 5 rounds or whatever. But it goes back to the thing, and I think it was pretty evident. Like every punch that he was trying to throw was with bad intentions. But even then, like he couldn't even land a punch really, or there was a few punches that he was able to land effectively and with full force or whatever. All contact, that hook and then that knockdown as well. But, that kind of tired him out. You know what I'm saying? And so, I don't know. I think he needs to go back to the drawing board and possibly get a new trainer as well. Because that dude, I don't know who that trainer was, but he was telling him to stay on his ass. But Jake Paul couldn't stay on his ass. He was already too tired to even do that.
Yeah, he just seemed kind of like a glorified hype man, Probably, I mean, Jake... This is no surprise. He came out after the Tommy Fury fight and said that he was having trouble with this camp. But he claimed in the lead up to this fight, he got rid of all the snakes and everything, and that, this training camp really cares about him, and they're really, I don't know, involved with each other and this and that. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to believe because, his gas tank just was not there. His gas tank wasn't there. I don't think they really had a real game plan either. They probably did underestimate him as well. Because, I mean, it's Nate Diaz. I mean, we got what we expected. Like, it was amazing to me that people were saying that, like, Nate Diaz was going to win or something. Because, like, everyone has seen his boxing. They've seen him hitting the pads. This guy cannot box. Like, I'm sorry. Like, yeah, he's a UFC legend. He did his thing over there. You know what I'm saying? He did really good over there. But on the feet, standing up, boxing, he cannot do it. And he showed it last night. But Jake Paul he knew what he was getting into, there was nothing surprising about Nate, no explosiveness or no crazy reflexes. He knew he had better cardio, so he should have prepared for that. He should have been a game plan where you punch in between someone that has zero technique like Nate Diaz so you can catch him and make sure that you can actually go the full 10 rounds with someone pressuring you all the time.
Yeah, that's very true. Also, I believe Jake Paul is the first influencer to do 10 rounds. I believe so. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty big. That's a pretty big achievement, man.
Yeah, that's not an easy thing to do, honestly.
Very 10 3-minute rounds. That's pretty difficult. That's what most what KSI I believe he's only done 6 rounds his most. Most of these influencers I'd be doing 6. So to do 10 rounds against a cardio freak like Nate Diaz, who smokes weed religiously, but who's still able to have like a 4th, 5th, 6th win. What the commentators were saying last night. Yeah, it's insane. So I give Jake props to that, for actually going 10 rounds. The thing is, these 10 rounds would have been more hellacious if he would have fought someone younger,
Yeah.
These would have been hellacious, especially those final rounds. Especially, what was it, the 8th? I
He
believe,
was just
which was Nate's best round, where he landed like over 40% of his punches in that round, I believe. And I'm saying if it was someone younger, someone like Tommy, like we say a Tommy or a KSI in those late rounds, especially a KSI,
Problems.
because KSI is he's also a cardio freak. So those Jake and his team really need to try to figure out something, find ways around this problem that he's having, which is gassing out in these later rounds. But overall, what would you guys give Jake Paul's performance against Nate Diaz? Personally, because I would give it a C plus.
C+. Yeah, I think. I think just because he did 10 rounds, like you said, like and that that really isn't an easy thing to do. Like 10 rounds, that does take a lot out of you. Um, I'd give him a B minus. You know, just just to give him something. B minus. Yeah,
A pat on the back.
I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Good job, buddy. Yeah.
I'm gonna give him a C. I'm gonna be a little bit more harsh. It's just that like it's essentially like they knew what they were going up against, and yet they still couldn't complete the plan. You know what I'm saying? Which was knock this dude out. It was basically a punching bag, bro.
It was.
It was a punching bag.
Yeah.
A guy who stands there to get hit, and yet he couldn't land that one punch.
Game too. People who stand there and try to bang it out.
That's very true, but and yet he couldn't really land anything significant, other than those few punches here and there and whatnot, and the knockdown and whatever. But yeah, so I'm definitely gonna give him a C minus.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, he underperformed, man. It's Nate Diaz. I think they did a good job definitely picking the opponent. Like this would have been a great comeback fight for him to get a knockout on. And he definitely had the opportunity to do it. Like you could see how smart the matchmaking is around Jake Paul, because they give him guys that like it's possible that you can knock him out. Like Nate Diaz, Jake Paul could have knocked out Nate Diaz last night. It definitely showed in the first round. Like he hurt him and he was going after him, but Jake Paul obviously he showed isn't at that level. He's not as good as he says he is. Like with someone who just has like that bit of dog in him, he struggles with it. And they definitely it was like a layup. The matchmaking team of Jake gave him a layup. Here's Nate Diaz. 0 technique, 0 power, 0 speed, 0 everything. He's just a tough guy, but you're going to beat him. And Jake Paul completely missed.
So, based on the performance last night, who do you guys have for a fight between KSI against Jake Paul? Who wins the fight like that?
That's very easy. Jake Paul and KSI. KSI. I believe Tommy Fury will beat him again in the rematch. I would go as far as say maybe Salt Papi or Slim as well. If all maybe possibly the top 5 guys. You know what? I would say possibly even Anthony Taylor could possibly give him, or I know would give him trouble as well, just because he's a journeyman. He knows the ins and outs. He knows tricks here and there. Especially, just go forward, bro.
Yeah.
Try to bang it out. This guy can't really bang it out, or can't bang it out for long periods of time. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't really. I would assume by now he knows how to fight in the pocket, because he claims that he has his right hand or this power or whatever. And yet, when Nate Diaz was standing toe to toe, he couldn't stand toe to toe with him. He was going backwards, skipping backwards even. So,
yeah. Man. Yeah. I mean, because I was with the. Cause I thought Jake Paul would win. If you would have asked me like a month ago or even a week ago, I thought Jake Paul would have won easy. But now, yeah, it's a bit harder now, because Jake just showed a flaw, a major flaw, and that's like, if you're there to fight, if you're going forward, you're gonna cause him some trouble. And like if you're going forward, if you're aggressive, you're there to fight, and you don't have like a glass chin, then you're gonna be fine. Like you can really do some damage to Jake Paul, because he's gonna try to, he might do good the first 2 rounds, and then he's tired now, and then you're going forward, you're relentless going forward, and someone like KSI throwing bombs, like literally just like swinging for the fences. Yeah, it's bad technique, but Jake showed very, very sub-average defense. His hands were like always kind of down. He was like his what was it? I think his left hand was always down. It's like the hand he uses to jab was always down. He was always getting caught with like unnecessary punches. No head movement. No crazy, no reflexes. Like imagine like one of KSI's overhand right hands, like when at close range, just whiffing that. It's hard to say, man. I'd give it. I'd go 50-50. I don't know yet. I'd say it's 50-50 Jake or KSI now, because I think KSI could be the kryptonite of Jake.
Yeah, stylistically, KSI just a pressure fighter. who doesn't get tired, who swings. But the thing is, like you were saying, if you were to ask me a month ago, I'd go with Jake. Even after his performance, I'd still edge it out to Jake, only because of the quality of opponents they both fought. Because ever since KSI made his comeback last year, he fought against Panetta, he fought against Swarms, he fought against Face Temper, and then he fought against Joe Fournier. And if you look at the quality of each of those opponents, they're nowhere near they're nowhere near a Tyron Woodley, Anderson Silva, a Tommy Fury. Jake has the more credible names in his resume, and I believe that if all those opponents that KSI has beaten would have fought Jake would have knocked them all out. Same way. I think Jake would have knocked every single one of them out. The real deal is now that KSI is fighting Tommy Fury, based on how he looks in that fight, based on how he does, will give us more of a better representation of what to expect in the KSI versus Jake Paul. But for right now, I'm giving Jake Paul a tiny edge over KSI. If they were to fight, I think Jake Paul still beats him, but just the tiniest. It'll probably all change. In October when KSI and Tommy fight it out. But for right now, I think Jake Paul beats him.
I think that's a good point. I think that's a little more towards like pound for pound, number one, not really stylistically matching up against each other. I think that pound for pound Jake is still better just because of his resume, like you say. Like he's actually been fighting. Nate Diaz. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest. I think Joe Fournier might be able to beat Nate Diaz. I'm gonna be honest with you. I think a lot of influencers can beat Nate Diaz. Nate Diaz is he's a bad fighter. But like his other fighters, like Tyron Woodley or Anderson Silva, maybe. They're definitely better names than like Swarms. Or Panetta. Like who are these guys? Like come on, like for there, yeah, I'll give you credit there. But stylistically, yeah, it's stylistically, it's an interesting matchup now. Because KSI is a dog. He's just an animal in there. He's like a beast. He's wild in there, and that could pose a big problem for Jake.
Yeah, especially did you see on Twitter that Jake Paul said that he said a couple of things after the fight, but he said that by 2026 he's going to be a world champion. I think he also called out maybe a possible fight with Canelo as well.
Yeah, he fought Canelo.
Yeah, and then KSI had something to say, something about he had a couple of things to say, but one of the things he said that was like, "Nah, bro, you're delusional." I think so.
Who said that?
KSI.
Oh,
yeah. He said you're kind of delusional, and I kind of think so too, just based off the performance. Like, bro, if you wanna, let's say let's play that he's gonna fight for a world champion by that year. I don't see that happening. He's nowhere near that.
No, he's not gonna fight. No, he's not gonna fight. I think he's just talking shit, to get the boxing world like riled up, and that's kind of what it is. Just antagonizes. I don't think he has cause if let's be honest here. At night when he's in his bed by himself, he doesn't believe that he can beat Canelo Alvarez. Like, let's be honest here. I don't think even these top fighters, a lot of them don't believe they can beat someone like Canelo Alvarez. So I think he's definitely talking shit, but yeah, I think he just does that to rile up his, the community.
But even then, let's say by 2026, that's when he feels like, he'll be at the top of his game or whatever. I don't know, bro. I don't even think that's what I'm saying. Like, just the 5-6 people that I mentioned, I don't really see him beating them.
Well, no, yeah, no, he's not. He's nowhere near. He showed, bro. This fight kind of showed he's not that great. Like, I honestly thought he'd be a bit better. Mm-hmm. Like, he has zero counter punching ability. Zero. Like, that's such a big, important game in boxing, and he has none of it. Like, he has no head movement. His footwork is all right, but, I mean, he was going up against someone who literally has zero footwork, flat-footed, just walking forward, and Jake Paul couldn't counter him. Jake Paul couldn't body him, Jake Paul couldn't rough him up. He was getting roughed up. Like, Jake Paul is not that good of a fighter. I definitely expected him to perform much better than he did. So, he's definitely a credible boxer would easily knock him out easy.
Would you say he's the best fighter? I think
influencer.
No, not in between him and his brother.
Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah. Logan is scared to throw a punch.
Really?
Yeah. Logan just wants to throw jabs.
I would say boxing skills. I feel like Logan has a little bit more just because based off the athleticism and stuff like that. But other than, I don't know. I need to see Logan fight again, and then maybe I'll go back to this question again. But
No, Logan. Jake's definitely much better than Logan, I believe.
Yeah. Also, Logan doesn't have the dog.
Logan doesn't have the
you can tell
dog
he's
either.
more mentally fragile than Jake, because it showed against KSI in the biggest stage at that moment during influencer boxing.
A deer in headlights.
Yeah, headlining the shows over in LA. You could tell Logan was feeling the pressure of the fight, of the atmosphere, and he didn't perform against KSI. He could have been KSI. I think he could have been KSI that day.
He pretty much beat KSI the first fight. He was whooping his ass, yeah.
And then he got tired.
And then he got tired, yeah.
And then they switched it. And he flipped the script on him. But for the second fight, what I'm saying, I believe Logan could have been KSI. He was a way better boxer, more athletic. He was just better than him in everything. But it was his head. He doesn't have that mentality to really fight. You know, to really have that dog in him. It's something that Jake, I do believe, has, because. You really think I don't see Logan Paul, pursuing boxing. He decided to go off to different endeavors, different things. Well, Jake, like, I'll do boxing. Even though they're MMA fighters, I'll still fight these fighters. People who be saying, oh, like, they're scary, they're fighters, they're legends. I don't see Logan doing that. But in terms of, like, I guess if you're talking about in skill wise when it comes to boxing, I do think Logan possesses more skills, just based on the athleticism that he has. But overall, if you as a boxer, I think Jake Paul is just more of a complete rounded fighter than Logan.
Yeah, I think that in this skill level that they're all at, all these influencers, Jake, KSI, Logan, all of them, the most important thing really isn't their actual skill. I'd say they're all kind of, except KSI, because he has pretty bad skills. But they're all in general. He has pretty bad skill, I'm going to be honest. He doesn't know how to throw punches correctly. But in general, or straight. He literally has to loop every single punch. In general, they all have kind of the similar skills. One might be a bit better than the other. Yeah, this and that. But I don't think that's actually the most important thing in this level, in these type of amateurs, right? The most important thing is wanting to fight. The most important thing is being comfortable in the ring. That is gonna be the most important thing, because I'm sure Jake looks better sparring in the gym. I'm sure KSI looks better sparring in the gym. I'm sure Logan looks better when he's sparring in the gym. But when the lights are on and the millions of people are watching them in that ring, they definitely perform worse. And some of them, like KSI, rises to the occasion, and he's like, I might not be the most skilled, but guess I'm gonna go in there and swing my fucking heart out. And other people like Jake or Logan kind of cowards out and, starts just throwing one punch, jab. And I think Jake as well showed in this fight too. He does I definitely think he has a strong mentality, but the lights definitely get to him still. I think, and you can't blame him. It's only his 8th fight. I think some like that. It's only like his 8th fight. He's still new to the game. We're not expecting him, or I'm not expecting him to be the next Canelo, where he's like a natural in the ring. Obviously, being more comfortable in the ring and more comfortable with the lights and the people watching you takes time and experience. And the more times you get inside the ring, the better he's gonna be. But right now, I think someone like KSI naturally just feels more comfortable inside of the ring, and that allows him to perform better than someone like a Logan Paul and even someone like a Jake Paul. I think Jake probably is a bit better, but in the lights, when it really matters, when the pressure's on, he does perform. It's a bit shaky. Sometimes he performs good, like Tyron Woodley and these other fights. Other times he doesn't perform that great. It's still an up and down with him. And in this skill level, having that type of mentality that KSI has is like super important. Probably the most important thing, other than like skill and raw technique and this and that.
So would you say that's basically how these influence, like the way they could level up or perform better is if they can handle the pressure.
Yeah, just being more comfortable in the ring. Being more comfortable in the ring will definitely help a lot of them. Oh, Jake, Logan, it'll improve them because I'm sure Jake trained. He definitely trains hard. I'm sure he could probably counterpunch a bit better. I'm sure he can roll or has head movement that's better. Has a jab that's better. Has a better gas tank even. But when the lights are on them, it's a bit harder for him to do it. It's a bit harder for him to perform like that. But someone like KSI, naturally, and maybe it's because he performs music and he's used to having big crowds watching him, and he gains energy from that. But naturally, he can just be more comfortable in that ring where he's like, "Fuck it, let's go. Let's just start swinging."
Yeah, like ever since his first fight, even against Joe Weller,
Yeah,
he was so comfortable.
he was so comfortable in there. Like it was, I was impressed. I was like, wow.
Yeah, I've never seen KSI give out like a really nervous. He's never come
Nervous,
out nervous,
no.
scared. No, he's always
He always looks like he's tunnel vision on go mode.
he laser focused every time. That's what I give him props for. Like he has the mentality. He really is a very solid dude. Just thinking way. He just has a strong just worth ethic. I know he trains really hard, and he really shows it during the fight. So that's the thing that I'd give him over.
Yeah. And I think, well, in my opinion, I think that's the most important thing, the mindset, the mentality, in their skill level. Because obviously, once we get into like professional boxers, they all have pretty strong mentalities and killer mentalities. But in like amateurs, because that's what they are. The influencers, they're amateurs, they're amateur boxers. They're performing at a professional level, but they've never boxed before in their life. They are effectively amateurs in the ring, and the most important thing, in my own personal experience, is just having the mentality for it, being comfortable in there. And a lot of it's hard. Not everyone has it, and that's okay. That's you can learn that throughout times, and the more times you get in the ring, like I said. But some people like KSI just kind of naturally, or maybe because of his music career, he kind of has it already. And that's why I give him a bit of an edge.
Well, yeah, that's interesting that you say that. I mean, that's very true, but I think this goes back to Jake Paul and choosing the right opponents. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he still doesn't have that confidence within himself, so they try to get strategically the right opponents so they could not only build them up, boxing wise, skill wise, and stuff like that, but maybe also the mentality wise.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, definitely. I mean, that's why. I mean, he fought like Nate Robinson. Like, come on, guy's like 5'9", like 160, a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? That was just for his confidence to be more comfortable in the ring. And when he fought him, he looked all strong and this and that, and he looked but against some Ben Askren, yeah, he looked. Oh my gosh, the power, the right hand. That's how to build him up. And then this fight, even though Nate Diaz literally sucks in every single category of boxing, everyone you can go down and put 0 Nate Diaz. The only thing he has is the mentality. That's the only thing he has, and that caused problems for Jake Paul.
That Stockholm gangster.
That Stockholm, spirit.
Yeah, also I don't know if people expected Nate Diaz to be scared or nervous against fight. Like, bro, we talked about this yesterday, me and you. Nate Diaz went up against peak McGregor. When McGregor was him,
Literally him,
prime McGregor, and he beat him. Like, you really think he's gonna be scared of fighting Jake Paul? Come on. No, he's not.
Yeah, Nate definitely has fought some killers, in the UFC. Peak. I'm talking. Yeah, everybody was scared of McGregor. McGregor was this meteoric rise, never before seen in the UFC. And Nate Diaz went in there and got lit up in that first round with some crazy shots by McGregor.
Yeah.
But he wasn't. He didn't cower out. He didn't get scared. Kept on coming. Eventually, submitted him. So Nate would most certainly not be scared of some kid like Jake Paul.
Yeah, and this goes back to the thing. Like, for me, my personal opinion, this is why I have, at least if we're just talking about like the top 2 guys of influencer fighting, boxing, KSI and Jake Paul. This is why I have KSI edge over Jake Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've definitely changed my opinion on that now because of this fight. I've seen it. I saw the mentality of it, and we've every single fight of KSI we've seen his mentality of it. He just won't stop. He's relentless, And Jake Paul didn't really have that this fight, you know? He encountered someone relentless. Someone relentless, like Nate Diaz, just completely relentless. Gonna keep on coming forward. You're gonna have to pretty much knock him out to stop him. And it posed a big problem for him. So KSI, you know, now I switched up, man. I was with Jake Paul. I was like, yeah, Jake Paul got him. He got the better opponents, this and that. But I think just based off his mentality, I think that's the most important thing in this amateur experience. I think the KSI will edge it out a bit. Yeah.
So I think I feel like before we move on to a different topic, I feel like Nate Diaz lost, but the people on Twitter still think that he won.
Yeah.
Jake Paul won, but I feel like he lost. But I feel like the true loser of this past weekend was Drake. I don't know where in his mind that he thought that Nate was gonna win.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Well, he's down $250,000.
$250,000.
$250,000. Yeah. He bet it on Nate Diaz.
The Drake curse.
The Drake curse strikes again, man. That's the only reason why he lost. That's why Nate performed because you know what I'm saying. Usually he's faster and more explosive and this and that, but because of the Drake curse, it kind of mentality and
got to him.
It got to him.
Yeah. Moving on. Well, actually, what's funny is that before we move on, I don't know what it was, but I saw a video on Twitter of a couple of fans that were at the stadium of the Jake Paul and Nate Diaz fight. They were brawling out.
Really?
Yeah, they were brawling out. I'm not even sure what the context of it was, but there were like a bunch of people just fighting.
Damn, man, it ain't that serious, bro.
It's really not that serious when it's just YouTuber boxing. You know what I'm saying?
Some influencers, man.
Yeah, imagine spending like a K
Yeah.
on your seat and then just fighting and
then
kicked out.
Yeah, just to get kicked out, and you gotta watch it on your phone.
Oh, come on. What a waste of money, man.
Waste of money. Yeah.
Yeah. Move on to
what KSI's little brother.
He's been in the news recently,
Deji.
Deji, yeah.
Deji wants the smoke, bro. He wants Bryce Hall.
He called out. He's been calling out some people, man. Did he make a full video, or just like
He made a video.
just a clip? Okay. Okay, yeah. He made a clip. He calling out Bryce Hall, which, if you guys don't know, and a lot of people don't know because no one gives a fuck about him, he's gonna have a bare knuckle fight. I'm not even exactly
Very
sure
soon.
when.
Yeah,
Soon.
this
I'm
month.
pretty sure this month. Yeah, in 2 weeks or in a week or something. Yeah. So Bryce Hall is scheduled for his bare knuckle debut, and Deji, for some odd reason, out of nowhere, randomly decides to call him out in a new video, and also calls out Whindersson Nunes. And then two things happened. First, Bryce Hall responded and said, he's not gonna want to fight me anymore after he sees my performance in bare knuckle. Which, once again, Bryce Hall thinking he's some sort of fighter. I'm pretty sure he's gonna get hurt again, and But the other thing that happened is Alex Wassabi had a couple things to say, and he said, he basically called Deji a duck and said he was ducking the rematch with him because that's what everyone is asking for. And, there might be some truth to that.
Well, yeah, there is some truth to that. I believe people do want the rematch. I think so too. And I mean, if the people want it, and this is a guy who's done YouTube for X amount of years, like, when the people say they want a new video, a new topic, a new this, he gives it to them. I don't think he's giving it to them. He's looking for someone. Did he call out Whindersson as well?
Yeah, Deji.
Deji. So he wants. Funny enough that he called him out after
He
Whindersson lost against King Kenny, and now he wants Bryce Hall, who we all know that.
So he lost like 2 years ago, and now he wants him.
Now he wants him.
Like,
2 years of inactivity, and he's gonna fight.
and he's scheduled to fight. Like,
nah.
like
Yeah,
what?
I think Deji's a duck. Wasabi's willingly to fight him, and Deji has yet to respond to that.
Yeah, I think. What do you think about that?
I think first I think stylistically Wassabi is a nightmare to Deji, because everyone sees Deji and they're like, oh, like he has the movement, he looked like a boxer, look at him counter all these punches. But Wassabi doesn't care. He's gonna go pressure you and just throw hands like he did against Deji in the first fight. and what he did against iDubbbz, he's just gonna be there to throw punches. He's gonna go pressure you, and Deji doesn't do well with pressure. Let's be honest. He does not do well with pressure. Every single time an opponent pressures him, he doesn't know how to respond. He moves backward. He doesn't know how to fight on the back foot. So stylistically, Wassabi is the wrong type of fight for Deji, which is why we're not seeing a rematch yet. Because if you let's say you were to lose, right? You're gonna want that get back, you know?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Okay, like he's already gotten 2 fights. He's gotten 2 wins ever since he lost. Shouldn't this now be the opportunity for him to start calling out Wassabi again? Be like, hey, like, let's get this get back. Also, Deji has said recently he only has a couple more fights left in him.
Yeah.
You know, he's not really that dedicated to a sport like that. And he really stated he only has
Got a couple more in the gas tank, and then he's gonna call it
and he's
quits.
gonna call it quits. So why not get this get back with Wassabi? You know, run it back, prove to everyone this new evolved, you know, Deji, the one that you were saying, oh, like the Deji who fought Wassabi only knew defense, he didn't know offense. Now, you know, supposedly he has both the defense and offense. So
he's a complete fighter.
He's a complete fighter, technically, right? He has 2 wins under his belt. Why not fight Wassabi?
Yeah, I think it's a good point. I saw, you know what I saw? I saw a lot of people saying, under the coverage of Alex Wassabi calling him out, saying he's a duck and everything, he's ducking. I saw people saying, "Oh, no one's ducking Alex Wassabi," you know, making fun of Alex Wassabi because everyone does. And I think it's true. And like the whole influence just make fun of him. But I think it's a bit unfair, and I'll tell you why. First of all, like you said, when you lose to somebody and you say, "Oh, this excuse, oh, it was just because I didn't know offense, this and that," you're gonna want the get back. Like, why would you not? Let's say Alex Wassabi beat you, and that was an embarrassing moment in Deji's career, right? Because everyone was talking shit about Wassabi. Oh, Wassabi sucks. Wassabi sucks. Wassabi sucks. Wassabi sucks. Every day I see the Wassabi slander, and Wassabi ends up beating you. How does that look? That's completely embarrassing because the worst guy in influencer boxing, the one that Fuzi knocked out, beat you. And then Deji, for some odd reason, now that he's the complete fighter, doesn't want a rematch. And now everyone's saying, "Oh, no one's scared of you, Wassabi." It kind of seems like it, because I mean, he has 1 win over you, and now that you're a complete fighter, you haven't spoken his name ever since. Like, it's a bit. I think it's unfair. People are just, first of all,
Haters.
Haters because they're Deji fanboys, and they're like, "Oh, Wassabi sucks, this and that." No, Wassabi goes there to fight. You know, I respect Wassabi. He gets in the ring, goes there to fight. He's not a coward. He goes in there and he starts throwing some punches. Unlike Deji, which like 50 or 60% of his fights, he just went in there and kind of just did nothing. So, you know, I think Deji definitely does not want to fight Wassabi, and I think Alex Wassabi knows that as well. I think he knows he doesn't want that rematch.
If you were in Deji's part of Deji's team, what would be the next strategy? Would it be the next fight would be Alex Wassabi, or do you think he should take another fight, kind of like another tune-up type stuff?
Well, it's mainly he just wants a tune-up. You know, I think mainly Deji, his main goal for the little fights that he has left is just to not lose. You know, he's not gonna do something big like fight Jack Parr, you know what I'm saying? You know, something crazy like that. He's just gonna. I personally think he just wants to fight some guys,
Cash out.
cash out. You know, he doesn't really want to, like, he's made it clear he's not super dedicated to the sport. He just has a couple left. Respect, you know, it's cool he got in the ring, but he doesn't want like hard fights, and he definitely certainly doesn't want another loss in his career. I think if he loses again, he might call it quits.
Oh, he will. 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I mean, like you said, if he wanted a tune-up, he's already had 2 tune-ups.
Yeah.
He had Fuzi, which Fuzi was coming off like a 3-year layoff.
No,
A 3-year layoff and a devastating TKO loss against Slim, where he got his face absolutely. It was one of the worst ass beatings I've seen. With headgear too.
Oh
with headgear.
Like 16-ounce gloves as well.
Insane. He got So I mean, there's your first tune-up against Fuzi. Second tune-up against Swarms, a man who fought KSI, you know,
And then got that signature KO against Who's that guy?
Oh,
With one
Ryan
punch?
Taylor. Ryan Taylor.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, like we're talking. I mean, Swarms had only been fighting for a couple, or started boxing a couple months.
Mm.
So like, there's your second warm up. You know, your tune up. With these 2 tune ups, he should already, be comfortable already, right? Get his skills back. Get his confidence. But he should already be. His team should be looking for a bigger name. Because Deji himself as a name could headline a Misfits show.
In the UK, especially.
In the
yeah.
UK, he would easily sell out a show.
He would, yeah.
Easily sell out a show. But I don't know. This all just falls down on Deji because even on his last fight against Swarms, Daly, his coach, said himself that this was only this was only like 60% of what Deji, because I guess he wasn't training or wasn't training hard enough. He didn't really take it serious, and that's what I'm saying. He's not really dedicated to the sport. I think he's looking at ways to kind of just cash out. Get these wins until he's calls it quits.
Yeah, that was they made it seem like it was some sort of flex. They're like, oh, Deji, that was only 60% of Deji. I'm like, that just proves he's a bum, man. Like he just proves he's undisciplined. Why would you even say that? Like that just proves that Deji doesn't take these fights seriously, and there's a reason why he performs the way he does in all these fights, because he doesn't train that hard. Come on, man. Like, just you're not gonna expect me to believe that after all the fights that Deji's had, now for some odd reason he's gonna just change and then train 100% like his brother, like someone like KSI, who's actually training hard and the work ethic is actually crazy. No, he's gonna keep on doing what he always does, which is half-ass his training camp and then go into the fight and half-ass the fight. Pick these fighters like Fuzi and Swarms, who he can 9 out of 10 times beat with the half-ass camp. Like, he doesn't want a tough fight like Alex Wassabi, which will be a tough fight. I don't care. I don't care of all the Alex Wassabi slander and all this. If you're being objectively honest, an Alex Wassabi fight will be very, very difficult for Deji to win. So they don't want that fight. They want another. They want like a Whindersson Nunes, just like a big fight, but not that.
Cash out, really.
Yeah, just cash out. Yeah.
You know what it is? This goes like to the topic that we were touching on, is the mentality. You know what I'm saying? Having that dog, wanting to go in there and fight even though you have no technique, kind of brawler style. This old Deji and this new 2.0 Deji, I believe it's the same mentality. Sure, there's with the 2.0 Deji, there's a little bit more skills, a little bit more thought, maybe there's a little bit more, his plan is a little bit more methodical in just sort of the last 2 fights that he's fought. But they're against guys who aren't that good.
Yeah.
Or who themselves aren't really fighters or don't have that mentality, that dog as well. So, even though, Alex Wassabi is kind of a horrible fighter, doesn't really have that, doesn't possess that boxer skills, qualities or whatever, but he has that dog in him.
He has that dog in him.
More than Deji.
Yeah.
More than Deji.
Yeah, so that's
literally
what got him to win.
the first night.
Because Alex Wassabi was there to fight and Deji was not. And that's what happens, at that level. It's just, that's all it is. So when push comes to shove, if they were to fight, if push comes to shove, Alex Wassabi, I believe, would win.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the last thing that Deji wants.
Yeah.
But yeah, because, he said, he only wants 2 or 3 fights left. Imagine he loses, you know what I'm saying?
He won't get those next 2 or 3.
Yeah, like what is that, his 3rd, 4th loss, so.
Well, isn't it technically
4th?
Wait, what do they have him as? His pro record? Is he still
He's undefeated. Yeah.
we all forgot about the other 2.
Yeah. We
We
don't mention that. We don't. Yeah, man. Yeah. So we'll see what happens with Deji. We'll see what he says, man. I don't think Whindersson has said anything. Bryce Hall has claimed some bullshit. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's not the right move.
Yeah, it's not the right move.
Not the right move.
No.
Let's sticking on the influencer topic. Slim versus Salt Papi. Been ordered by the new
PBA,
newly
right?
formed small council.
Small council,
yeah. For the middleweight title. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Who wins that fight? Because honestly, I think people will slander Slim a lot for no good reason. And I want to see what you guys think. Slim versus Salt Papi, who wins and why?
Oh, Slim versus Salt Papi. That's a difficult one, man. When's the last time we've seen Slim even fight? It's been what was it, Zanetti, right?
Earlier this year, I believe.
Oh, it was early. That
Yeah,
was
earlier
early
this year.
January. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Both fighters possess very good qualities. You know what's funny is that they both have their mentality. If we're gonna stick on that topic, they both have their mentality, fighter mentality and whatnot. Yeah, I would say just based off what I can just off the top of my head, Slim is a lot more aggressive fighter, and Salt Papi is a little bit more of a laid back type of fighter. When Salt Papi fought a guy who's kind of a come forward, Anthony Taylor. Sure, Anthony Taylor is a veteran. He has these tricks up his sleeve and whatnot to kind of negate. But Salt Papi is too. He's in love with his power. You know what I'm saying? So he's a little bit. He only throws if he feels like it's gonna land or it's gonna be a hard shot. While Slim is a little bit more active, and every punch is pretty hard. So I'm gonna say Slim. I'm gonna say Slim. Nothing, no, by KO, UD or whatever, but I would say Slim.
Slim edges.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm not sure. This is a difficult one. I haven't really thought about it. It kind of came as a surprise to me when, or I guess not as a surprise. Was Salt Papi fighting at a higher weight, or was he always fighting at that weight?
I think he's
Was it
gone down.
168?
I think he's gone down as he's progressing his boxing career. I think.
He's been losing weight.
Yeah, he's been losing weight. So
Like 70s. He's been fighting like 70s.
the 70s, right? Okay, so there's a new weight class for him. Slim. That's also kind of a new weight class for Slim as well.
It is a new weight
Yeah,
class.
he hasn't fought at that weight either. I'd say, yeah, I think my initial thoughts right now, Slim is taller, longer, and I think his type of his style would cause a bit of a problem for Salt Papi. But I can't sleep on Salt Papi either, man. It's a tough one, yeah. I think I'd have to give it some thought. But initially, my gut, like just initially, I think I'd say Slim as well, just from his like physical advantages.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to piggyback on you guys. I think Slim would beat Salt Papi. Like you said, Slim is moving down to a new weight, 168. He was fighting at 179, and he was dropping
Oh yeah.
them, these heavier guys. Slim's power is real. He's showcased it many times. He hits hard. He's a hard hitter. And his style, he just not only is he just physically taller, longer than Salt Papi, but he's very, very unorthodox fighter, who's also just happens to be a pressure fighter, who hits hard. And Salt Papi's, his best opponent is Anthony Taylor, and Anthony Taylor is a smaller guy, who just really just pressures you like that. So I don't know, based on what I've seen. And, I used to be such a big doubter in Slim, when he was coming up, I did not believe in his hype at all, until last year when he beat Face Temper. And then he just came in as a late replacement and knocked him out. And then everything else he's done up to this point, I don't doubt Slim, I really have a lot of faith in him as a fighter. I think what he says, he always delivers what he says he's going to do. And people who be saying, "Oh, Slim's ducking Salt Papi," this and that. I think that's a bunch of bull. Slim doesn't duck anyone. He wants to smoke. And I don't know. I think Slim
gets it.
Slim gets him. Yeah, it'll be a tough fight. Very tough fight. Based on this would easily be the most technical opponent he's ever fought in Salt Papi, who's not only really technical, but he's really quick. He's a really quick counter puncher. That's really what he's known for.
Yeah.
But I think Slim takes it.
Yeah. So yeah, Slim has until Monday, just today, for until to get the fight made and signed and official. So hopefully that gets done, man, because that'd be a great fight.
That'd be a great fight.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
And that's a fight that the people would want as well. But not only that, I want to do have another put in my 2 cents in. I feel like what I would like or what I would hope is that whoever wins, the winner should get a KSI or Jake Paul, or if not that, headline their own main event card. You know what I'm saying? Because they're two guys. However you have your pound for pound list for influencer fighters, they're up there. They're top 5. You know what I'm saying? And if we seen the best of the best, they should continue on. And their next fight should be against another great within the influencer scene, or another guy who generate, who pulls in people as well, like a KSI, Jake Paul, or have them headline their own show, headline their own main event.
Yeah, I mean the closest one would be KSI. The thing is it's the weight difference. Jake fights at 185, so that's what is that 20 pounds? Yeah, and KSI fights a little lower. What does he fight? 178,
75-ish.
75-ish.
Yeah.
So they could go back up in weight, but they could, and they probably would honestly for the money. Like Slim or Salt Papi got a contract. Hey, fight KSI at 175, which they fought at that weight before, for this amount of money and headline. They might take it, but I don't think. I think a Jake would be a little too unrealistic. Jake Paul's a bigger boy, and he's also onto bigger things now. But KSI fight, it could happen. We have to see what KSI does, and we have to see what Tommy, how his fight with Tommy Fury goes. So there'd be a lot of variables, but for them headlining a show, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I feel like that would be the most realistic thing. Like the winner is gonna headline,
Mm-hmm.
because Jake Paul is very unrealistic for me.
Mm-hmm.
Even the KSI even stated that if he beats Tommy, he would probably retire because
Oh yeah, I saw that.
he'd probably retire because he's like, I beat the man who beat Jake Paul.
Yeah,
Jake Paul
something-
doesn't see, something like that, right? And I feel if KSI fights after, let's say he beats Tommy, and then the next fight he fights Salt Papi. Let's say Salt Papi wins. Like, I feel that's a step backwards for him. He needs to keep leveling up. So I feel that KSI maybe like a year ago would have been more realistic, but now I don't believe it's. I think that's slowly getting out of the realm of possibilities.
Yeah.
So I think the winners would most likely receive like their own headline show, because we're talking about Salt Papi and Slim, two of the biggest names in the influencer scene. Big hitters, big favorites. The winner's for sure gonna be a superstar. Like they're the next,
I think that's what they're gonna try to do. Like the winner, they're gonna try to put some money behind him and build him up.
Yeah. So the winner is gonna pop depending on how they win it. Even if it's even a decision or whatever, the winner's gonna get major rewards for that. So I feel a headlining for the next Misfits event would be more likely for them than a possible fight than with someone like KSI or Jake Paul.
Yeah, I definitely think so. I think so, and so hopefully it gets made, man. It was ordered by this small council, which is kind of funny. Yeah, really
Making moves.
Yeah, they got a small council now. I like that though. Them ordering fights and stuff, because that'll put some pressure behind the fighters and be like, because what happens if he doesn't? Will he get stripped or what?
That's a great
Because
question.
I mean, get spanked. Yeah,
I think it's pretty new, so we're not.
they probably should though. I mean, if it's technically mandatory. Oh, I thought Slim had it.
Who had it before then?
No one. Slim.
Oh,
The champion at 170.
I thought they were. Yeah.
So yeah, it's currently vacant, the middleweight. That's what they're fighting for, the vacant. I believe if it doesn't get made, I'm not really sure what the consequences are. I think they just lose the opportunity to fight for the title. And I mean, it's a big fight regardless. So
Yeah.
if I was either fighter, I would take the fight.
Absolutely.
I would
yeah.
take the fight. 100%.
I think. I mean, they both seem like they got. They both seem ambitious, and they seem they have big aspirations in the sport, especially Salt Papi. He's made it clear that he wants to be the next Manny Pacquiao.
Yeah, that's
but
true.
yeah. So I mean, that's a big fight because it's a big name, and then the winner of that will be headlining more money behind them. The hype train will be back for both fighters. So I'd definitely get on that if I were as ambitious as they were.
Yeah, and then it goes back to the specifics. Both of them are A-side fighters or whatever. So they're money and all the other things that boxers are accustomed to wanting. Give or take and whatnot. So we'll see how that goes. I think let's end it off of another.
What
were you gonna say?
Some boxing, some traditional boxing.
Some traditional boxing.
Yeah.
Well, actually, a little bit of both.
Okay, yeah,
a little bit of both. Let's talk about potentially.
Oh no, dog.
Anthony Joshua was scheduled to fight August 12th against Dillian Whyte, and Dillian Whyte tested positive for a banned substance.
Come on, man. Come
Yeah.
on, man.
Come on, man.
I don't know what these heavyweights are on, bro.
And it's more than once, right?
That's Joshua's second opponent.
Second opponent.
Yeah, because it was Big Baby Miller.
Yeah.
Boom. He tested positive for some stuff. And then he fought Ruiz.
Yeah. And there's been a couple of fighters who right off the bat jump on that opportunity. One of them being, as you said, Andy Ruiz.
Let's get that trilogy.
Let's get that trilogy.
That boy wants that money. That's what he wants.
That money.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
That's definitely what it is with him. Definitely money. But another one who I was very much surprised was Rahman Jr. Hasim Rahman Jr. Them putting their hat in the their name in the hat. Do you guys want to see that?
Yeah. I don't know if I don't know who did Happy Punch say that or did
Yes.
Hasim Rahman say that?
Both
Happy
of them
Punch said that?
but
Okay.
Happy Punch, yeah.
Yeah. I think Happy Punch. I think they're just trying to get some more eyes on them. I believe. Yeah. Because firstly, it's not a realistic match. Secondly, Joshua would be fighting like literally some nobody. Yeah, so Joshua wouldn't take the fight. Eddie Hearn wouldn't take the fight. That fight would not happen, and I wouldn't even want to see that fight. It'd just be a clear Joshua. Cause let's be honest here, Rahman is an influencer boxer. He's not a boxer anymore. He's undisciplined. His fights are always canceling for some reason. Pulls out.
Because of the injury, yeah.
Yeah, like he's not there for me. Like he's just trying to do the social media stuff. So.
Yeah. So do I want to watch? Do I want to see Rahman Jr. fight Anthony Joshua? No.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No. Yeah. Well, if you want to go on that, on this hiatus, AJ hasn't been looking very good since his loss against Usyk. His last tune-up fight, he didn't look that good either. Yeah. But no, yeah, I would say, yeah, AJ would beat him, and so there's no need for that stuff.
Yeah, there's no need.
No need for that.
Yeah. I don't even think he's gonna get an opponent. Honestly, I don't think so.
I think the most realistic opponent would be Andy Ruiz because he's also been
Maybe
iffy-ish, in his
Yeah.
career. He
But
has
yeah.
internal problems as well with his wife and money problems and other stuff like that.
And his drug problems and yeah.
Man, his wife exposed. I'm pretty sure it's his ex-wife now, but exposed his ass.
Yeah, that was a bad look for him.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I really don't know who would be a good. It'd have to be like some, like a
Michael Hunter.
Michael Hunter, like a Frank Martin or like a, I don't know, because no big heavyweight, or I doubt it would accept it, like a Wilder fight. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, no. That takes time and everything. Andy Ruiz, I feel like that's a bit more realistic, but I'm not even. I don't think that fight would happen either. I don't know. Like my gut feeling is just telling me like it's not gonna happen.
I think if the money was there, he would possibly.
Ruiz, oh definitely.
Yeah.
Oh no, Ruiz, yeah, definitely. But I don't know about Joshua, and I don't know about Hearn either. But I mean, if Joshua just wants to fight, then maybe Ruiz could happen, and if Eddie Hearn just wants to wants any fighter, maybe Ruiz, because Ruiz does have a big name. They could sell it, the trilogy.
Trilogy, yeah.
Trilogy, Rocky, it's his chance again, the Mexican Rocky. So they could sell it, but for some reason I could be wrong. Personally, I just don't see it happening. I just don't see it happening.
Yeah. That's unfortunate because with AJ, I think the people really want him to fight the other big names, Wilder, Tyson Fury and stuff like that. So if he doesn't fight, then it's another X amount of time that we have to wait for a mega fight of those. So
Yeah.
All right, let's end off this podcast with predictions. Who do you think is gonna win for this weekend? We have Mexican showdown between Emmanuel Navarrete versus Oscar Valadez for 130 titles. Who do you guys think is gonna win this weekend?
Man, dude, I like both fighters. Both fighters, they're both produce really good knockout compilations, and they both possess that power, that one-punch KO. Really good fight, typical Mexican fighters. I really want Emmanuel Navarrete to win, but there's quite a bit of variables, going into this fight. Both of them have not looked very good in their last fights for both fighters, but I think it's just because of the level, not the level of opposition, but just because of the styles of their past opponents. Let's take for example, Oscar Valdez fought
Shakur
Stevenson.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Valdez is a counter puncher type of fighter. You know, he goes. You know, he gives. You know, he kind of stays in the pocket and whatnot and bangs it out. But he's mostly a counter puncher and whatnot. And against a boxer like Shakur Stevenson, who relies mostly on speed, footwork, and all that stuff, no, it's definitely one sided. On the other hand, Navarrete, who he fought, what was
A
it?
nobody, man.
It was what was his name? Wilson, something like that. Wilson, a kind of a not a labor replacement, but a last minute opponent kind of type of deal for a vacant WBO 130 title. Navarrete did not look very good, and then it goes back to the question of he's fought like that at 122, at 126, and at 130. It looked like that train, that unorthodox, that unbalanced Navarrete that we are accustomed to seeing against a guy who wasn't on paper, didn't look like he was on his level. Kind of stopped him. Not only that, but dropped him as well.
Dropped him.
Dropped
And he
him
hurt
as
him
well.
bad.
Against
bad.
a guy who does not possess that KO power, and I think it stems from. It's possible that maybe Navarrete has met his match at 130. In the aspect of he can't just bully his way
Through his opponents.
Yeah,
I mean, it was also a hook that dropped him as well and that hurt him. It was the other guy's hook and
left hook.
as we all his left hook. And as we all know, Valdez has a tremendous left hook. So yeah, just like you said, man, I'm in the same thinking. My heart is telling me Valdez, or no, my heart is telling me Navarrete, but my mind is telling me Valdez, man. I think, yeah, it's just based off those last performances, man. It was against some nobody, and he got hurt bad twice.
And if we go back to I'm sorry to cut you off,
No,
but if
go
we go
for
back to let's go back to 2020 when for the I think it was also another vacant. I think it was for the No, it wasn't the vacant. It was for Miguel Berchelt's WBC 130 title against Valdez. Where the whole boxing community was saying, "Oh, Berchelt is too big.
Yeah.
He's gonna go
Yeah,
and just
hurt.
dismantle this man."
Mm-hmm.
And Valdez destroyed him.
Yeah.
Destroyed him. I would say Berchelt and Navarrete have similar styles in the aspect
Similar,
of
yeah.
they just go forward. And if you look back, Valdez likes that type of fight when the opponent is initiating, whether it's just throwing the punch or he's going forward. Because he's a counter puncher, he waits for the opponent to see what he does. And, well, it looks like Navarrete might have a difficult fight.
Yeah, the style is definitely leans towards Valdez. So yeah, it's gonna be hard, man. Cause I like Navarrete too. I also like Berchelt, man. And going into that fight and watching that fight hurt me really deep down in my soul. So hopefully we don't get to see that again. But if I were to bet money, I'd be betting money on Oscar Valadez. Besides, even taking into consideration his last opponent, like you said, it was Shakur Stevenson. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson is a master boxer. He's on another level than Oscar Valadez, than many other fighters. So, you know, that's you know, losing to someone like that is understandable, but not for Navarrete to look that bad against someone in that caliber wasn't, you know, what was expected. So
both of you guys say Oscar Valdez.
yeah.
I say Emmanuel Navarrete gets the win. I think he stops Oscar Valdez. I think he stops him in the late rounds. I do think. I think this fight's gonna be. I think it's gonna live up to the expectations. A Mexican showdown. You know, they're both there to bang. They're both literally just Mexican warriors who are just gonna go and fucking throw hands. But I do see Navarrete getting clipped a lot with that hook. But I do believe he has enough power, and he has a decent chin on him too. I think he has enough in his arsenal to really push through and really break down Oscar Valdez. Because I think Oscar is very he has more dimensions, more skills in his arsenal. But one thing I would give Navarrete would be his punch selection is better than Oscar's, and it all kind of depends on what happens during the fight. If Navarrete's team is able to make adjustments to that hook, then I can see Navarrete having more success. But I just believe Navarrete has too much volume and too much shot selection, and I think it should be enough to break down Oscar in the later rounds and potentially stop him. So I have Navarrete on the late stoppage victory.
Well, let's hope that happens, man.
That's a bold prediction.
I mean, I want that to happen as well.
Fans? Yeah.
Yeah, as a Navarrete fan, I want that to happen as well, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We're definitely gonna tune in for that.
Yeah, definitely. That's just like you said, Mexican Showdown. Be on the radar for that. It's gonna be a great fight.
Fight.
Yeah.
Well, I think we got it, guys. I think we got it. So till then, let us know what you guys think for this week's fight. Who do you guys got, Navarrete or Oscar Valadez? And yeah, let us know who do you guys think would win. KSI after Jake's performance, who would win, KSI or Jake?
Yeah, like what'd you guys think of the fights? You know, what do you think? Nate Diaz, did he live up to the hype or not?
Yeah. So until then, it's been your boy Roberto,
Pablo,
Asael,
and this has been the Last Round Boxing Podcast. Peace.